You're listening to The Bird Bath. This week's episode is brought to you by Vet Value and the Vet Value Connect Marketplace, the world's first cloud-based marketplace for veterinary practice sales. They're offering the industry's lowest brokerage fees, superior process consistency, and unrivaled transparency. If you're looking to sell your practice or explore purchasing practices, sign up now at vetvalue.pet/birdbath. Again, that's vetvalue.pet/birdbath. Welcome back to the Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. First off this week is kind of a call to action, something a little bit fun. If you know a veterinarian, a technician, a researcher, or somebody in the industry who has done something excellent in veterinary care, now is the time to start paying attention. The Bridge Club is now accepting nominations for their 2026 Icon Award. The Icon Award is always something that I enjoy getting a chance to follow along with, participate in, go to the events and see who the Bridge Club is honoring each and every year. And this year, they're doing a spotlight on the excellence in veterinary care. The goal is to recognize individuals who are redefining what's possible through innovation, leadership, and compassion. Nominations are open now through September 10th. And so it's time to hop in there, sign up people, campaign for people, whatever you want to do to make sure that some incredible people can have the opportunity to be nominated and then perhaps win the award. So this year's honoree may be a veterinarian, a researcher, veterinary technician or nurse, or industry professional whose work exemplifies expanding access to care in meaningful and innovative ways, advancing the spectrum of care through leadership, education, or pioneering practices, and finally, delivering practical, high-quality solutions that elevate outcomes for both patients and clients. I've got a couple people popping around in my head, so there's definitely going to be some interesting things. I'm going to put a link in the show notes if you want to put in any of your nominations, but I think this would be a great time for people to just highlight those that you know that are making a real impact in our industry. Speaking of innovation, there is a new innovative company that I'm always a fan of that has a new update. Inventory Ally is now available on mobile. The thing that I love the most about this, well, there's a few things. First off, it's not a new app. You can access your Inventory Ally site and your account and everything utilizing your mobile device, and you can add it directly to your home screen on your phone. So make sure you go check that out. But the thing that's really cool about this is by utilizing your phone, you're increasing the availability to utilize what's on the back of your phone? Your camera. That's right. Now with this new update and the ability to sync everything directly utilizing your phone or your mobile device, you can now use the phone on your device to do some really cool things. You can also add items directly on your phone while you're there. And the thing that I am absolutely thrilled about, which is something that I had seen sort of floating around the human pharmacy world, which is the pill counter. So the team at Inventory Ally have built in a native internal tool that will do the math for you. If you haven't seen one of these AI pill counting devices, it is awesome. All you have to do is put the pills out on the counter, put them out in the tray, wherever you want to do that count, open up the camera on your phone when you're in the app, and it will make the count for you. This is really, really cool. If you're not familiar with this, if you're an Inventory Ally user or not, you should check it out. I've used it for counting things with my little girls. Anything that's a uniform shape, you can count. So really, really cool to see Inventory Ally taking one of the last big manual count headaches out of what's happening in clinics. So really cool to see it. Congratulations to the team at Inventory Ally. I think this is going to be a big, big update to get people even more excited about what you guys are doing. Now, if we take a journey over to the pet care side of the world, you guys know we always talk about the difference of vet care and pet care. Well, a huge show is happening in the pet world. Super Zoo is happening. And there was a new product unveiled that I thought was really cool. Maybe it's because it's so hot outside right now in Dallas, and I'm thinking about buying these for myself. But a new product was launched by Phelps Pet Products. The product's called H2Go! Which I'm going to tell you guys, is a really hard SEO name, but either way, Phelps came out with it. H2Go. It's the first to market hydration gel for dogs. So it's a long-lasting hydration gel without the need for a water bowl. The goal here is to create a convenient lickable gel format that allows animals to just lick the gel and receive the hydration. Each pack is equivalent to about 3 cups of water, and it will help them replenish fluid loss during travel, outdoor activity, or hot weather. It's shelf stable and it comes in a single serve format. I really thought this was cool. It was one of those things that I actually went and Googled some more because it seemed like something that would be on the market already, but it isn't. So this was really, really a neat thing to see. If you're a hiker, if you're a traveler, if you travel with your pets, if it's super hot out and you even take your dogs for a really long walk for some reason, you don't realize that if it's too hot for your feet, it's definitely too hot for their paws. But this is a great thing to throw in your pocket, throw in the backpack, throw around and just have available. So Phelps Pet Products has brought H2Go to the market, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. Feel free to send me some. I will give it to my dogs, and heck, I might even try it for myself when I'm on a long run. A story here that's more of a really cool article that I read and more of a thought process that I think a lot of people should be looking at is IVC Evidensia's update and ambiguity around whether or not they're looking to go public. IVC Evidensia, if you're not aware of them, you are missing out. They have over 2,500 clinics and hospitals across 20 countries. They were in Europe primarily for a very, very long time until they made an acquisition of Vet Strategy in Canada in 2021, which brought them over to North America. They have some very powerful people behind them, some that a lot of you are familiar with, such as Nestle through Purina, as well as Silver Lake, which is also the partner company for the new Mission Pet Health, which was previously Southern Vet Partners and Mission Vet Partners. So very, very interesting thing here. The thing that I found the most interesting when I think about how IVC Evidensia is looking at this is the CMA, which has the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK, is still going through their investigation. They're still tackling some of the understanding around what the different costs of pet care should be. I had the opportunity last week to talk with Louise Cook, who's one of the co-founders of Luna, which is the dental vet. It's a dental-only veterinarian group in the UK. And Luis gave me some interesting insight about what some of the different feelings are and how people are looking at the cost of care and things like that in the UK. And so there's been some uneasiness perhaps from the larger groups as they're thinking about whether or not the public markets are the right place to be trading their businesses. There was an interview in the Times with IVC's CEO Simon Smith, and Smith said there's a lot of sensible business and management reasons to list in the UK, but there has to be an environment which is conducive to investment and business growth. I think that's kind of the thing that we're seeing. Is the UK somewhere that's going to embrace the changes and the growth that people are looking for in the veterinary care sector? The numbers on the publicly traded companies that are there, CVS Group was 42% down from where they were before the CMA's investigation was launched. And then Pets at Home, which owns Vets for Pets, has dropped 40% in that same period. So it's one of those things that people are, obviously concerned about in the UK. And I thought it was very interesting as well, because we're sort of on the brink of that in the US with some of the larger groups that have done the will they, won't they of going public. And Silver Lake might be one of those companies that's at the heart of it. Again, this is just sort of tying together the different strings here. But Silver Lake, as we said, is not only a shareholder in IVC Evidensia with 2,500 clinics. They also are a partner of Mission Pet Health, which has 840 clinics. So if you were to take Silver Lake's just as an owner of vet clinics, it's not hard to say that they have nearly 3,500 veterinary practices under their wings, which would in turn make them a shareholder in the largest number of vet practices in the world. IVC Evidensia is just knocking on the door there of Mars, and the Nestle business is taking it from the candy aisle to the vet clinics. But definitely some interesting things here. I'm very curious to see what happens in the UK and then see how that ripples over to what we've got going on in the US. It's not exactly a news story, but it's definitely a story that's newsworthy. Finally, one last story from across the pond. The BSAVA President has stepped down. Dr. David Godfrey was initially put in as president just in June, a couple months ago. And this came on the heels of a really big change where the British Small Animal Veterinary Association had just finished its last Congress after a very, very long time and announced that they were shutting down those annual meetings. So Dr. Godfrey stepped in at an already sort of difficult and curious time for a lot of folks and had expressed optimism for renewing what was going to be happening. But after just a couple months, Dr. Godfrey has stepped aside. It was only cited as private matter, and I'm not one to really pry into that for people. I hope all is well for him and his family and everybody that's associated with them. But it is definitely putting a bit of an interesting piece into the year that the BSAVA has been having. His predecessor, Julian Hode, has now been returned to the post on what has been described as an interim basis, with Vice President Susan Little now in line to succeed him. Stay tuned for that, and for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's always a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.